Today's topic is domestic violence, the case of Stockholm Syndrome. People must know about it in order to help. Also sharing and listening might make us see where the problem is. The syndrome was named 40 years ago after a notorious case of bank robbery with 4 hostages, 3 women and 1 man, held in extreme conditions for 6 days of siege. Hostages developed an irrational sympathy for their captors, defending them and identifying with them, given that they had been threatened and abused all this time. After being saved, victims became protective with their abusers and feared that rescuers may harm their captors. One of the victims got engaged with one of the abusers and another gathered funds to help their abuser with the defense fees. The syndrome describes in fact a psychological mechanism of human nature in some extreme circumstances that has always existed and which has been studied by many specialists. Such relationship is a controlling and abusive type of relationship in which bonds start to form between victim and abuser. Situation can't be socially understood, but it can be explained by specialists. It is a relationship which builds on emotional fragility, like how can we feel the nothingness? What if trespass of abuser may not be as severe as it seems? When you face fear and need to survive, small acts of kindness prompt a primitive gratitude for the gift of life, as defined by specialists. Victims going through danger, risks, and violence develop irrational feelings for abusers. People's feelings and mind work in strange ways in certain circumstances of big stress and discomfort, psychologically the syndrome being explained by fear and need to survive. Victims become attached to abuser. They start to see violent acts as normal acts, as a way to adapt and survive. Typical to this specific case of domestic violence is that victim will try to protect the abuser and explain his acts, while trying to deny and help or accuse people who want to help them escape from abuser. Many women don't understand they are abused and need specialized help. Their friends and relatives should understand they need help. They are women who constantly deny any help and are protective to their predator. Attitude which contributes to their self-destruction by not being able to see alone that they experience violence and physical abuse. Effects of abuse are so strong on victims' feelings that victims imagine they are really guilty and continue the irrational choice to preserve that abusive relationship and hold to the emotional bond with their physical abusers. In such cases, if victims can't help themselves because they develop Stockholm Syndrome, becoming familiar with violence, seeing it as a necessary behavior, then other people, friends or relatives should take action. Domestic violence is so present everywhere, affecting vulnerable people, and of so many kinds: physical abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, economical abuse, social abuse, intimidation, deprivation of liberty, systematic control and dominance.